they want is something unachievable. And there is a fear, and what they want is this, and they would say, oh, I want that, because this is something that you cannot achieve. So they just try to tell themselves a lot of lies, like, oh, I don't want this, I want this, but deep down, like he or she want that thing, but they always blame other thing. This is also something that I need to know. And even though they don't tell me, right, I can feel it. I can understand, that's not what he wants. That's what he wants. But he's not telling me this because, out of ego, right? So there's a lot of responsibility for a teacher, in order to understand the disciple. And when it comes to, like practice Buddhism, right, especially between teacher and the student, it's very important that, that's why the trust is important, because the student has to be very honest. Like you need to leave your ego, at the doorstep, and come to the classroom and talk to his teacher. See him as a, like doctor, as I said. You cannot say, doctor, oh, you have your problem is here, but you don't want to show your boobs, right? Then you say, oh, my problem is somewhere in the stomach. Then what will happen? So yeah, honesty, is very important, and honesty can only come out if you have a trust. Yeah. 所以最重要的 how to say quality?
特质、品质都可以。
特质呀，师父的上师的最重要的特质是第一个是他一定要照顾 how to 照顾吗 like care
关
心自己的弟子。第二个是他一定要能讲佛法。这个两个有的话应该安全。Yeah.
So I read from books. It says it need at least 3 years for the master to recognize his disciple as his
No, it doesn't need. It depends, really. It depends on the because we always, as a Chinese, they say connection, right? You're in fun. You're in fun. Yeah. So maybe there's also a lot of truth in that. Some people come to me and they don't really, like, open up. They don't really tell me the real issue. They just tell me something that which is not important. Because out of ego, as I say, right? And out of like maybe they don't really trust much. Maybe, maybe they think I have a shantong, which I don't have, right? Yeah, so they don't tell many things. So it really, that's why the trust is very important. Trust is important, and it's important because we need to understand each other. If there's no trust, you really cannot understand each other. Yeah. Yeah, because like before, during the first, like those early days, right, when Buddhism was flourishing in Tibet, Tibetan, they don't know how to request master for the teaching, right? There's in Tibet we do a lot of offering, all those things, so then the teacher will teach you, right? But it was in India, not really in Tibet, right? There's no tradition of that. So when those like first master who traveled in Tibet to teach, Tibetans have no idea how to ask Shifu for the teaching. They would just say, oh Shifu, why don't you teach us some about Buddhism? And yeah, and then the Indian master, he said, oh, it's good that you have lots of like enthusiasm. You're very enthusiastic about receiving the teaching. But the real instruction is always lies in respect and trust. Because he doesn't display any respect, right? He was like, oh, how about you teach us something? Which is not a way to ask for the teaching. So there's no respect in that, right? So respect is also not the action. It has to come from within. Like you see someone, if that person see a king, right? Trust me, he wouldn't ask for the teaching as the way he asked the teacher. They will be very different way of asking, right? But the teacher, there's no respect. He say, "Oh, how about you teach us some teaching?" So it's all, your attitude, your mindset, yeah.这里网络有差，对不对？对，网络有，这里网络有差一点点。对，是网络不够，是网络不够。不是网络。
是网络，你说网络不够，我说是不是要去请人家生？他就说不用，好像是有什么问题，他就是一直叫改，
了解。对。
网络是断掉。他说拉线的话40不够用，2个平台直播顶多18。我们的线拉40够，